what will be the near-term influence on oil now that we've done the Russia ban?
I mean, the ban itself was very symbolic, right? Like you said, people were already self-sanctioning, which meant that most companies weren't even touching Russian oil. Russian crude oil, it's mostly that goes to PAD 5 on the West Coast. So those refineries have to seek alternatives, potentially from Latin America or just local ANS barrels. The bigger point, which I guess it's not talked about as much in the media, is Russia actually exported a huge amount of feedstock to U.S. Gulf Coast refiners, so VGO, fuel oil. So these are essentially oil components that refiners would use to run to make gasoline. I think that's the thing that is probably under the radar and misunderstood the most. And coming into peak gasoline season, you can really see gasoline prices rising and the market tightening up because of the loss of those particular feedstock material from Russia.
The president was asked yesterday what he can do about gas pricing. He goes, I can't really do anything right now. And then when banning Russian oil, I think his solution wasn't to try to make it easier to drill domestically. It was this actually means we should hasten our transition to renewables. Could we do anything? Could he use the bully pulpit to ramp up production in the United States, or does it take too long, or do you need market forces to do that? It's been politicized. What's your view?
No, absolutely, it has been politicized, and market forces are doing the work. You know, $130 or $125 WTI, oil companies are making more than enough money to return to shareholders, pay down debt, and drill, right? The economics are there to drill. That's not the issue over here. The issue over here is these longer-term incentives, because governments are ultimately still telling every oil company and the oil industry that we don't actually need you in even 5, 10, 20 years' time. We only need you right here, right now. So where is the incentive for these companies to invest for the medium term? And I think this is something we've been talking about for a long time, is this disconnect in the government thinking around how quickly we can get rid of oil and gas, because demand just hasn't shifted. Yes, ultimately, everybody does want greener and cleaner solutions, but it's not going to happen overnight.
Do you expect there to be any change in attitude in Washington? For example, there's a rule the Labor Department is proposing where retirement fund managers need to consider the climate impact of their investments. We've nominated Sarah Bloom Raskin, the president has, and she has a stated kind of a goal, top priority, to use bank regulation to try to redirect capital from fossil fuels. I mean, we are still sort of in that mindset. We saw in Germany that's absolutely why they're in a pickle over there. Do you expect that to change at all?
Absolutely.
Or you do?
No, I don't. I mean, this is the challenge, right? That I don't expect that mindset to change anytime soon. But here's the catch. Germany, that came out and said 2035, we're going to have every single power plants running on renewables. The fine print, if you saw, was, oh, by the way, we are now going to extend the life of coal. Because I do think when it comes to the reality of people actually not having heat for the winter or paying sky-high prices, if the masses and the population react to that, that's when politicians will change. Right now, it's still very much like the talk is still around, we want to go into renewables. But the problem is Western governments have prioritized energy transition over energy security. And that's the price we are all paying for it right now. In the East, it's been the opposite. You've seen China today come out and say, we're not going to export any gasoline and diesel because we need to look after our people. So energy security is going to go at the top of the agenda. And I think in some ways that's the challenge for the West in terms of what is that energy security? Is it just renewables, or is it a mix of cleaner energy? Because oil and gas can also be done responsibly and in a clean way.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.